waiting on this one. There we go. There's 142 people on on TikTok. So we have a really interesting story. We had an employee who lied, stole a car, and we're just gonna like recount this story because it's probably gonna take all of us to tell this story.
It's quite hysterical.
So we had an employee who had previously worked for the company 2 times, and he's been battling meth addiction for pretty much the majority of his life. But we wanted to give him another chance. He is a fantastic worker, digs like no other, and he got off the drugs, he said, and needed a second chance. Well, actually, with us, it was his 3rd chance. So we brought him back.
Yep.
And whenever he came here, he was homeless.
No, he's living out of a van.
Well, he was homeless, and he was living out of a van that wasn't even theirs. And he was living with his girlfriend at the time. Is that right?
Had not a dollar to his name.
Seriously, the guy did not have a dollar at all. So we brought him in and, gave him some money each day to operate on. It took him about a month to really kind of start to get on his feet.
Yeah.
We offered him a place that he could move into eventually, but he had to, fix it up a little bit. And of course, we were paying for all the materials to fix it up. And we also gave his wife a job here in the office. And so it was about a month, and he was going to get his first real paycheck that he was able to keep. And payday was Monday. And so he cashed his paycheck on Tuesday, and he called me up and he said, "Hey, listen, man, can I have half the day off to go pay my child support?" And that seemed like a reasonable request. So I said, "Sure, take half the day off. We've got, a lot of work planned. Catch up with me at the halfway point." And nothing. The guy called at 11 o'clock and said he was still in with child support in the court, and that he would catch up with us later. And the next time we heard from him was 8:10 at night. Well, obviously he comes in the next day, and what he tells us is the money that he owes. The money that he owes is nowhere to be found. He said he had to give it all to child support enforcement. His wife and him are both wearing brand new Nikes. Like, why would you even wear Nikes to work at a septic company?
And around here, the lowest price that you can get a set of Nikes
is like $68,
$60 to $80.
Yeah.
So easily spend $120 to $160 if he went on the cheap side of it.
And he owed me like $700 because I'd been, keeping him going day to day. But his paycheck was really good. His paycheck was like, $1,800 or whatever for 2 weeks. And then he had wife had a new engagement ring.
Yep.
And what they tried to tell us was that he was in court all day with child support, that he went to child support enforcement to pay them money because he had a warrant for his arrest for not paying child support. And he said that they got him in front of a judge right then. Well, I talked to some lawyers, and they said that's probably not going to happen. So I went down to the clerk of court's office, and they said not only did he not come in, but he didn't pay his child support. He didn't pay one dime after he told us that's where all of his money went.
And exceeded to tell us that he had warrants for his arrest.
He said that that he had taken care of his warrants.
Yep.
And that he had to pay them like $800-900 to take care of his warrants. We found out that the warrant was actually for $205, which he could have paid that, pretty much for the price of the Nikes and the engagement ring, because he got like a $150 engagement ring.
Yep.
So completely lied about that. So I set him down in the office. Oh, I forgot. The other thing is he got up in Taylor's face. Taylor's one of the supervisors.
And for those of you who don't know, I've been here for almost 2.5 years. I have exceeded any other employee that has been hired here. When it comes to anyone who was hired for this company,
yeah,
I have been here the longest.
And got up in Taylor's face and told him that Taylor better watch himself because
he's going to be my supervisor.
Wow.
And I mean, he probably stands as close as I am sitting to Will and Septic Life as of this very moment.
Yeah. Just got up in his face. The other amazing comment that he was reported by 4 or 5 employees from saying was that whenever he was boss, there was not going to be a weed policy.
Nope.
That they would be rolling blunts on the way to the job sites.
Yeah.
In any event, that's not going to fly. So I sat him down in the office and I said, "Hey, listen, man, all this stuff, everything that's happened, we can totally quash it. Like, I'm ready to just water under the bridge. We'll start fresh and start clean. You only have to do 2 things for me. Number 1, you have to bring me a piece of paper that says that you've paid your child support so that I know that you don't have a warrant, because I cannot put you in the field if you have a warrant out for your arrest.
Yep.
You absolutely cannot work for that. The next thing that you need to do is you need to bring me a piece of paper, some document, something from child support enforcement that says that on Tuesday, bring me a work excuse." Basically.
For those of you who are jumping in on the TikTok and a couple of you who are jumping in on the YouTube, I've noticed y'all's comments. We are not talking about DC Lowlife. We are talking about a much different employee. DC Lowlife is doing good, and he is doing very well for himself out here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And by the way,
DC Lowlife.
yeah. And by the way, all the TikTok comments are delayed by 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So we can't see those, but we are on the YouTube live with the comments, and those come through right away. So in any event, we sent him out to just go get work notes. And we told him, hey, water under the bridge, all the comments you've made to other employees, we'll quash that and we can bring you right back. I just need a work note. Now, when we bring in people that have had, hard times in their life and stuff like that, and they're starting with 0, we try to provide some resources for them. And one of the things that we try to provide is, some cars for transport. So, if somebody comes to work for us and they don't have anything, either me or some of the other employees that have a few cars, we will loan them a car, not charge them any money. The insurance is paid. That way they can get around town, go buy cigarettes, get some drinks. Sometimes people just need to go for a drive. Well, he was allowed to use a car, a Lexus.
Yeah, another employee's Lexus.
Oh, yeah.
With the only deal being that he had to put gas in it.
Yeah, that was it.
Put gas in it, don't wreck it. Only rules he had.
But it was not his vehicle. It was for us to use. And so he loaded up his stuff and left in that car, which was not his, and left. And we thought that he was going to go get that work excuse. Now, because we're not idiots, we're not going to give, a Lexus to somebody who we don't know. So all the vehicles have GPS trackers on them. Every work vehicle, all the personal vehicles, they're all GPS located.
So we send our lovely friend sitting back here, Logan, up to this gentleman's house that was provided by the company, and was like, "Hey, Logan, go look on the inside, and just see if there's anything out of place."
Because they left the door standing wide open and everything. And
Logan, once you come back down after being up at the house, what was left inside the house?
What was left in the house was a dirty old futon mattress, a weed pipe, some weed, and just a bunch of nasty food in the.
And they took a massive poo-poo in the
toilet that has no water.
Yeah,
they took a dump in the toilet that has no water.
So rotting. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty.
But their clothes were gone. No shoes, nothing. Right.
Yep. Nothing. So in any event,
and turned in his phone to one of the other employees.
Oh, yeah.
And it had already been factory reset.
Yeah, his company phone turned it in. Now, that didn't stop him from taking off with everything else.
No.
But we thought he was going to go get that work excuse. And when we look at the GPS tracker, the vehicle is going 106 miles an hour, which is not legal anywhere. And
we don't even have an 80 anywhere.
Yeah. And he is all over the place. He's in South Asheville, North Asheville, Waynesville. He's nowhere near the courthouse. And so we just, all right, we sort of found out that he turned in his phone. Yep. We're looking at the GPS tracking, and we put it together that he's quit. And so we call the police and we report the vehicle as stolen. And we let the police know that it's got a GPS tracker on it. And they're very, very interested in that. And so we go out and locate the vehicle for them. And we call Waynesville Police Department. And they're very happy. Waynesville Police Department is so excited that there's a stolen car and it's in their city. And they send like all 5 cops, and all the cops are super cool. In any event, they go get the vehicle. We tell them, listen, we don't want to press charges, nothing like that. We're not pressing charges for stolen car. We're just looking to recover the vehicle and he to go on his own way. Now, here's where DC Lowlife comes in. DC Lowlife is riding around with me, and we are in the big truck. We find this Lexus that's stolen, and we call the police, and the police tell us, hey, just park down the road. Now, DC Lowlife doesn't really get along that well with the police. So he's super nervous because every time he's around the police, he goes to jail. This was his first experience not being arrested, being around the police. This was the first time that he was on the side of righteousness. And so what happened is the cops went up, they recovered the car, they got all that guy's stuff out of it, and they come back down to us, and the cop's like, you guys are the ones with the vehicle? They're like, yeah. And the cop tosses DC Lowlife the keys. He's like, go up and get it, it's yours. And DC Lowlife just has this amazing smile on his face. He's like, really? For reals? And
he's never been on this side of the law
ever.
And he is just so excited that he is not in trouble.
So we drive up there next to the Lexus, and this employee that has basically quit and stolen the car and everything else like that, he sees me in the car and is like, yeah, that kind of figures, and he just keeps talking on his phone. But when big old 6'8" DC Lowlife, 350 pounds, walks around the truck, this employee just starts screaming. He's like, I don't have the keys. I don't have the keys. The police have the keys. And here's DC Lowlife. Just holds up the keys. He's like, yeah, the police gave them to me. At that point, this dude comes unhinged and like pretends to try to run at DC Lowlife. And his wife holds him back. Okay. And the cop is just standing there. And the cop is like, you two just need to shut the up. And DC Lowlife is, again, like big smiling because the police have never defended him before. So here he is doing the right thing, and the cop has got his back, and he gets in the Lexus, and we drive off. Now, here's where it gets. This is where I start to think about things, because this employee quit, but we also employed his wife. We had no problem with his wife at all. So he quit, moved out. Bear in mind he was living in a van, but sort of left. Okay. And we had no problem with his wife. The wife could have continued to work here, but she left with him, and she was kind of confused as to what was going on. She didn't really understand it, and I think he was lying to her as well.
Yeah,
but
because the women who are in the office loved her.
Oh yeah,
she was picking up on things quickly. They were more sad to see her leave than him.
And the thing is like, we didn't want to see him leave either because he was a fantastic employee.
He truly was.
But he lied. And even though he lied, I was willing to put everything that he had done aside. And all he had to do to keep his job was just man up and be like, listen, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let's get back to work. And what would have I said to that? Let's go. So he literally lost the place that he was about to move into. He lost his car. Mm-hmm. He lost his job. He lost his wife's job. And they were getting paid pretty well. But again, all he had to do was stick around. That was it. That was literally all. Like just own up, man up, and fess up. Mm-hmm. So what did we learn sort of about him? I mean, and this is all speculation, but do we feel like he was off meth when he was here?
Surely, yes. I believe that he is. I had asked him before about it, and he said that he hadn't messed with it. He wasn't going to mess with it. And me being the person that I am, I believed him. Do I believe that he was on it when he left?
Oh, I think he was totally on it when he left.
He said that's where he stands. That's where he stands. I'm a person who believes in a person's word, I guess is the best way to put it. I didn't believe that he would go back, seeing how it seemed like his life was just getting back to good.
By the way, if
But-
you're joining on TikTok, there's 1,000 of you in the live on TikTok, and I really appreciate that. But you can view the entire thing and get the whole story on YouTube on my YouTube channel. It's under James Butler. But go ahead.
And again, for those who are just now coming into it, as the questions are still coming in, it is not DC Lowlife.
Yeah, this is not
it's
DC
not
Lowlife. DC Lowlife helped us rectify this situation completely. And DC Lowlife was actually the one who spotted the car in the neighborhood where the GPS tracker put it. So DC Lowlife was definitely on the side of righteousness on this, and actually had a good conversation with the police. Hey, listen, DC Lowlife has tattoos all over his face. He's a big guy. Very much looks like he's about that life. And the cops here didn't question him, not one bit. They were like, "Hey, man, thanks for your help," and sent him on his way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the fun part. The cops gave DC Lowlife the keys to this Lexus, which is reported stolen, okay? And we're driving it home. And it doesn't occur to us that nobody's taken this out of the system as being reported stolen yet. So DC Lowlife is driving what the police will call a stolen vehicle, and he's right behind me. So I'm in front, he's behind me, and I look in my side view mirror, and I see a Haywood County Sheriff's officer just roll in behind him, get right up on him. You can tell they're running that tag, and guys on his radio. So I decided to call 911, and we had this big miscommunication debacle. And I'm telling them, like, "Hey, remember that Lexus that you guys were looking for? We've recovered it, but there's a Haywood County Sheriff's officer that's about to pull it for a stolen vehicle." They were about to do a felony traffic stop on DC Lowlife. And DC Lowlife is getting nervous. Like, he sees the cop behind him. He knows his past. He just had a good interaction with the police, and now he's about to get stopped big time. And so I'm talking with the 911 operator, and she is talking to the sheriff's officer, and I can hear them going back and forth. And the sheriff's officer's like, "Nope, that car's in is stolen. I'm pulling it." She's like, "No, they've recovered it. We've already talked to Waynesville Police Department. You're good." And he gets pissed because I think he was like, he thought he found a stolen vehicle,
Finally, some action.
Yeah, finally some action. The high point of his day.
Exactly.
And this dispatcher is about to take it away from him.
Oh yeah, definitely. So in order to keep everybody safe, I sort of pulled into the Lowe's parking lot. Well, about that time that we pulled in there, because I wanted like a controlled traffic stop if the guy was going to pull him over. I guess he gets the word back, and he just left-hand lane and gone and disappears. But DC Lowlife is about to have a heart attack.
Yeah, he's ready to pass out and just shake and fall out of the driver's seat. He doesn't know what to do.
But we got the car back, and the employee is no longer here. So you guys are in the comments. My question is two parts. Number one, would you give this employee another chance, knowing that he is a great worker? Okay, great worker. But would you give him another chance? And here's the other one. Would you give the wife her job back? Now, she walked out whenever her husband left, but would you give her job back? So I guess it's two parts. Would you give him another shot? Would you give her another shot? Dude's like, absolutely not. Like, I can see it. They're like, no and no.
Yeah, I get one right now. This is no, he lies. You don't like that. No, you already gave him.
Now, somebody
chance
said
of
wife,
chance.
yes. And somebody else said no to him, but
Yep.
yes to
We
her.
have yes to wife.
So, it's a pretty good split. I am all about second chances.
So for the wife, it would be a second chance because we have nothing against her.
Yeah, nothing.
Now for the employee that walked out with her, this would be his fourth chance. Not a second, not a third, a fourth.
Guy says, did DC Lowlife have to change his drawers? Probably a little bit. So now that's my opinion. I would, like, me personally, I would give Chris another chance if he was man enough to walk in here and say that, number one, he lied, and number two, that he needed help getting his stuff taken care of. I would give him a second chance, but it would be on a very short leash. But I would give her a second chance in a heartbeat. Now, Taylor's one of the supervisors. Taylor, what is your take on it? Would you give him a second chance?
I would have a lot of reserves about it.
Reservations?
Yeah. I would have a lot of reservations about it. Sorry, my English. But I would strongly, like he said, he would have a very short leash. Obviously, it would come at a substantial pay cut.
Seth Mate says fourth. Hell no, then.
It would come at a substantial pay cut.
Oh, yeah.
And he would not be in one of the vehicles. We have a very large property on which we all operate, and that would be his job for at least the first 6 months.
So Drifty says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Type of situation. And that's absolutely right. But
Completely fair.
But here is the thing: whenever you're talking about people that are battling drug addiction, is it's very, very difficult, and recidivism is super common. So these are good people that a chemical has control of them. So I almost consider it like it's not even really them.
Logan is one of our office staff. He answers a lot of the phone calls. He does the water testing. He does some scheduling. Would you give him his job back?
No, and especially after talking to my family about the situation, it turns out he was actually one of the people in my sister's meth house, getting her as bad as she was.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's a new revelation for
YouTube
me.
and TikTok exclusive. Even we didn't know about it.
But yeah, I was talking to my sister about it. And she was saying, his name sounds familiar. So I found him on Facebook, pulled him up, showed her a picture, and it's one of the guys who was feeding her addiction, got it to where her kids were taken away. So having that personal family conflict with it, I wouldn't want it back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So Death Clan on here says there would be a few stipulations, i.e. drug rehab and counseling, then probation, and probably some ongoing drug testing. And that's probably exactly what we would do. But the thing is whenever I tell you that this employee, when he gets out of the truck at a job site, he is all about the work.
Oh, absolutely. And I kind of like what DW York 32 says. It says forgiveness is free, but trust is earned.
100%.
100%.
Yeah,
I can
definitely
fully agree with that.
Yeah. So he says last chance 2-foot leashes.
Someone asked, would we pay for rehab if he proved himself?
No.
That's something he would have to show
that
he is paying for and he is actively doing.
And this is the thing. He can pay for the drugs, so he can pay for the rehab. Now we do have a thing in this company where, until you're getting on your feet, you can borrow a little bit of money. My thing is if you're borrowing money to get on your feet and you're buying drugs with it, like that's the wrong thing to do. So this is all about, just like Goats King says, this is about personal choices and personal responsibility. So, but that is the story. I mean, that literally just happened. Like we were dealing with that over the weekend, basically. So, anything interesting in the comments?
So, Unsnug GG commented, said, looking for some advice if you can spare a minute, from JB, him.
Me.
How do you handle an employee doing excellent work, but who also constantly complains about doing the tasks? Context, operations roles inside the office. I'll let you start that.
Man, so you've got an employee who constantly complains about the work. And here's the deal. My parents had a rule. They didn't care if I complained about what I was doing as long as I was doing what I was told. So is it horrible in the workplace to have somebody complain all the time? Yes. But if they're doing the work, then it's not a performance issue. It's an attitude issue. And I'm definitely going to address that. But the first and foremost thing is comply. Like, hey, if I tell you to take out the trash in the office and you complain about taking out the trash in the office, at least you're taking out the trash in the office.
It's also stands on where is this employee doing the complaining? Is he doing this in the office? Is he doing this in the field in private? Or is he doing this in the field, like in front of, or is he doing this, whatever job this is?
Definitely
is he doing this in front of clients and stuff like that.
Definitely
take that into account.
Cannot complain in front of customers. That is get fired immediately. No second chance. You complain in front of a customer, you are done, sir, done right now.
Yep, that's it.
Now, the other thing to consider on this is poison in the work environment. So when somebody comes to work, and let's say that this is this company, we got 22 people, we're all coming to work, we're all happy, we're all glad to be here, we all work really hard to keep our jobs. And then you have somebody that starts complaining. That's a poison that gets spread throughout the entire workforce. And so, you really have to look out for employees that are poisonous. Logan, you were here. No, you weren't here. You were here whenever we hired the girl in the laboratory.
Yes.
And she started.
He was here at the tail end of it.
Oh, you were at the tail end of it. Yeah, she started creating drama in the workforce. She was trying to compare her pay to people in the company that didn't do anything like what she did, because not all office people are equal. For instance, Logan, who answers the phone, works in the lab, is going to get paid a significantly different amount of money than somebody who is just answering the phone. Now, Logan answers the phone from time to time, but the majority of his work is in the laboratory. That laboratory is going to mean that he has a higher pay. And this girl was trying to stir up drama about a phone answerer or customer service rep versus a laboratory technician. Just because you're two females in the office doesn't mean you're going to get paid the same thing. You've got two radically different jobs.
And now, mind you, at this time, I had been here for probably close to a year and a half.
Yep.
She had been here for 6 months, we'll say. Just good ballpark number.
Yeah, definitely. You like that?
She tried to make
how the coaster just stuck to wow. I didn't even see that until I set it back down.
Great. But she tried to even make complaints that she was very upset that I made quite a substantial amount more than she did. And obviously that comes at whatever.
So
because it had nothing to do with the fact that I'm male. It had nothing to do with the fact that anything of that, like what I did, anything like that. I have been here for longer than anyone. Of course, I am probably going to make the most.
Now, here is the funny thing. Taylor has been here for 2.5 years. We have a female who works remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Taylor's at do you feel comfortable saying your pay online?
I make $25 an hour.
So Taylor makes $25 an hour. We have a female who works remotely and answers the phones, and she also makes $25 an hour. She's our most senior, person. That's in the office and has a lot of responsibility. She more or less runs the office. She's the highest ranking non-owner in the office. Now, Taylor is a state licensed septic inspector working on getting his well license and has years of experience in this field. So again, different jobs, different pay equality.
And let me add something in about the woman who works in the office. She is one of those people where, like, if she asks me to do something, that gets on my list of stuff to do towards the top.
Oh, yes.
She has that
type
of authority.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And not one guy in the field they will talk back, but not one of them is actually brave enough to argue with her, and that includes myself.
And even me as the owner, when she calls me up and says, hey, this needs to happen, I don't argue with her because she knows her job. So we got Death Clan here that says, James Butler, I have a question. If you got a second, I'm wanting to start a business as a mobile generator mechanic. Any pointers on getting your business out there? Listen, I come from the world of door-to-door sales. And I know that's tacky. I know it's not popular. But I grew my business whenever I was in the growth phase by knocking on doors, okay? And I did that in the septic industry. I did that in the lawn care industry. I did that in the alarm industry. I did that in the locksmith industry. I knock on doors. When I owned a lawn care company and I'm driving by and I see somebody's yard is trashed, I'm knocking on the door, okay? If you're looking at being a mobile generator mechanic, I mean, I don't know where you live, but around here, if you're up on the side of a mountain, your power goes out every time it, snows hard. I would be going around and leaving flyers and just knowing that people don't maintain their stuff. Listen, people don't maintain their septic systems. They don't maintain their wells. Darn good and well, they're not maintaining their generator. So that sounds like a great opportunity to start up.
Total side note, just because this was hilarious to read. Someone put that DC Lowlife was the hero of the story, but almost pooped his pants after the cops came to get the already recovered car. So it was like, here's the story, not so much.
So Spurcell says, so who steals cars that used to work for you?
So we are at this point, we are not disclosing his name.
Yeah, definitely. He has been in some of the TikToks. So you guys have definitely seen him. But I'm not going to throw his business out there like that. The other thing is like I said, all he has to do to get his job back is man up, come in here, have a honest conversation, and say that he did not take care of his stuff, and that he did, do that. The other thing is whenever we got the Lexus back, and he had destroyed the inside of that. There were cigarette burns in the sunroof. The engine is now leaking oil, probably because he had that vehicle going up around 100 and something miles an hour. Look at that. We're getting the dog out of the room. That was a trick.
Yeah.
She
wouldn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. But 106 miles an hour bouncing around was not good for that car. So this is one of those instances where I sort of had a feeling like, man, you guys have like this person is going to ruin it for everybody, but I don't think we're going to take it all down. Taylor's really reading these comments.
I'm trying to keep. I see y'all's comments all the time on TikTok and YouTube about him not reading them. I'm really trying, y'all. I really am. But y'all are telling a lot.
I will read, but
I do love. I do have one that I'm actually curious about myself.
Well, I'm going to get to Twizzle Lick Sticks or 420 right here.
Okay.
She says, why would you want that back working for you? It shows total disrespect for you and your own. Listen, I don't stand on pop and circumstance. I don't demand that people respect me. What I demand is that people respect themselves enough to come in here and admit that they were wrong. I'm about personal growth. You don't have to respect me. You need to respect yourself. You need to respect the customers. I'm just a guy who happens to own a company that scoops poop.
On the flip side of that, I am the one that is you will respect him for what he has done and what he has become in this company.
For anybody that has like military experience, this is the heavy hat. This is the guy that gets angry on my behalf. Now, you sort of stand between me and the employee, but once it goes above me, nobody stands between Little Heather.
No. So for those of you who don't know who Little Heather is, she is Well and Septic wife number 2. She is a spectacular person, does an excellent work at her job. But on the flip side of that, she is also HR. Absolutely. So whenever one of us gets in trouble, depending on how extreme the trouble, she has to take care of it.
Now, Logan, say that again. Say that.
Absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
I am 6'4". Logan is 6'2". DC Lowlife is 6'8". There's 2 other gentlemen who are 6 feet and 6'4". And every single one of us, she's now, mind you, she is 4'11".
She's 4'11", yeah.
And every single one of us, whenever she turns into HR, are shorter than her.
I want out of the room.
He won't even be there when we're being
absolutely like whenever Little Heather says I need to talk to an employee, I'm like, that's great. I'm gonna go find something to do someplace else.
Look, see, I'm going.
I'm going.
Sorry, bye guys.
Gotta go.
It's last time.
Someone asked, do you have any knowledge on surveying field? If it's a good career. So it's hard.
So self-made says, do you have knowledge about the surveying field? And the answer is yes. There are more surveyors retiring than are actively getting into the field. It is one of those jobs, at least in the state of North Carolina, where you have to apprentice under somebody. You have to learn it hands-on. Even if you go to college for it, you still have to do hands-on. That is a great field to get in. I encourage anybody to do it. You're going to see the price of surveys just go up and up and up. So
somebody asked, why is DC Lowlife called DC Lowlife? Because he loves DC comics.
Yes.
And we're not really sure where the lowlife comes from.
No, the lowlife is because he considered himself a lowlife.
He considered himself a lowlife.
Yeah.
So he likes DC comics and he considers himself a lowlife.
I
Therefore, DC Lowlife.
I thought it was from DC Shoes, but whatever.
No, I thought it's because he was from DC. Because I
no.
have no.
Okay, so we're all. So maybe we're all wrong.
This is all theoretical, apparently. Yeah.
Amy Dyer. What advice do you have for dealing with an employee who just doesn't grasp the job and is quick to make excuses as well as blame others, versus talking or taking any accountability?
So, if you have an employee that doesn't grasp the job, remember that there is a threshold where some jobs you just have to be a certain amount. You have to have a certain intelligence level to do that job, and there are plenty of people who do not meet that requirement for many jobs. Let's remember that even the Army has a cutoff. Like there are some people that they're like, I'm sorry, you're not smart enough to be in the Army and carry a gun. So some people you just have to let go. And that's the thing is if they can't grasp the job, you train them, you retrain them, you retrain them again. But at some point you just have to call it quits. You just gotta.
Yeah. Some people, and it has been proven to us time and time again, they just, when it comes to the field that whichever one you typically work in, but especially for the field that we particularly work in, some people are just untrainable.
So XHamster52X says, how much profit do you reinvest into the company? The percentage is fine. So about 90% of the profit gets reinvested into the company. And Death Clan says, yeah, I did 10 years in the Army as a generator mechanic. That's awesome. What would you say to someone who is on that threshold of not being able to stand the 9 to 5, but intimidated by the prospect of striving out on your own business? I would say, listen, business owners are the only people that will work 80 hours a week so that they don't have to work 40 hours a week. I am always at work.
None of us go home. We actually, there's actually beds behind us.
Yeah,
because we sleep here.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm the only one who really does go home because I live 40 minutes away, but I'm trying to fix that.
Yeah.
He's office staff, so like 9 to 5, he gets to leave.
But it is not uncommon for me to work 100 hours a week. But the thing is if you're going to commit to owning a business, that's like committing to having a child, okay? You have to take care of that business 24/7. Listen, if this phone rings and it's a business call, I'm going to answer it. It doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They're getting my full attention, and we will roll trucks out at 2 o'clock in the morning. So if you're going to start a business, you definitely have to commit to that business.
It's an interesting one. James Tackett, I apologize if I said that wrong. He says, if someone were to move across the state for a fresh new start, would you be willing to help with? I have a great work ethic as growing up on a ranch in Wyoming. So this is a very common question that I see him get often. It is people asking, hey, if I'll come down there and I'll bust ass, or if I can get down there, or, will you help me move? So this is a very common question, and I'm going to let him take it away because here's the answer.
So the thing is I'm not going to help anybody move down here, okay? Moving down here is literally a bus ticket. People do it all the time. But the thing is you still have to come and apply. And I will say that we're going into the slow season at work. So we're actually scaling back, not, hiring more, because we're going into that slow season where weather is going to stand in our way a lot. But I would say the last 5 hires that I've had has been people from, TikTok, YouTube, things like that. They knock on the door and they're like, hey, I want a job. And if there's a spot for them, we'll put them in it. And if there's not, there's not. But the thing is they have to sit down and talk to me. And they have to portray to me that they have the necessary drive and skill. You have to have willpower to do this job. And I hate to make like a Green Lantern joke, but willpower for some people is never ending. And for other people, they can't figure out how to not smoke a cigarette.
That's kind of a jab at me.
A little bit.
I'm just quitting.
He's stopping. He's not actually quitting.
That's true.
Okay.
And that was a very bad decision. Someone asked, are you Psycho saying, one, what are you guys going to do crazy food challenges again? When y'all start sending us more crazy stuff.
Send us crazy food to eat. We've already done the bad fish from...
We've done Strumsinger, and we have done Death Nut. So don't do those two. And the crazy-ass pocket chips.
Yep.
Don't send those either.
Yep.
Anything else, send it. You will see myself and the other gentleman who was in the tasting videos.
Jason.
We're going to have to pick up a third person.
Yeah, well, DC Lowlife is
here. DC Lowlife.
Yes, there we go.
So the next food challenge, it will be me and Jason and guest starring DC Lowlife.
And I'm on a
Consider
new
it.
diet where I only eat food that I like. So,
So he's not going to do
I'm
it.
not doing
That's
it.
exactly what he's saying.
I'm a wimp.
And Logan's stomach can't take it.
So George Frisbee says, how much are your trucks? About 120 to 130,000. Hello?
I have Carolina Reaper hot sauce that I was going to send you guys as a joke.
No, we already did it.
We've already done the Carolina
Yeah, we already did the
Reapers.
Carolina Reaper hot sauce.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
I didn't
y'all
see
were
that
such
video.
little bitches about it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
For
We're
those
not
of you,
doing over videos. We're not doing it.
so for those of you that don't know, that was the never before seen on camera.
Oh, true.
Like,
That is the James brother.
yeah, it's the J. You will never find him on camp. Wow.
Again, YouTube and TikTok exclusive. You only seen him this one time. That's the only time you'll ever see him.
That's a scary dude. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. Somebody
So-
said, "Do you guys ever do company trips?" We really try to do as many as we really can. Obviously, with work piling up here recently, we haven't been able to do one in a while. But with it coming up on the slow season, we're going to attempt to try and go on a company
We also
trip.
just had 4 to 5 people out for over 2 weeks. I mean, COVID sort of ripped through our office again, despite the majority of us being vaccinated. We had one employee who got in a motorcycle crash. If you go on my TikTok, removed the motorcycle crash and banned me over that video. But if you go into my YouTube videos, you can see the motorcycle crash. It's absolutely
He
amazing.
got
Yeah, he got
He got thrown
yeeted by
hard.
yeah. He went flying through the air like a rag doll. You should go check out that video. It's absolutely great.
Somebody also, Psycho Saiyan again asking said, okay, what about alcohol? I imagine you're also commenting about the challenges. If you send alcohol, we cannot do a video on that except for maybe me and DC Lowlife, but probably not. We strongly ask that you do not send alcohol because we will not drink
Yeah.
it on camera.
No, it's not going to happen. I don't consume alcohol anyway. I don't buy, sell, possess, profit from, transport alcohol in any way.
And you
The
do
only
not.
alcohol I like is smeared off screwdrivers.
And Dwork 32, we just spotted Bigfoot. No, there are more sightings of Bigfoot. That was a unicorn. You'll never see
that
And there's
again.
no photograph of it.
Yeah. Guys, it says younger person thinking about a lawn care business, but I don't have good social skills. Do you have any tips? I have no social skills. Listen, I hate people. Listen, I don't like being around people. Okay. And I had to learn social skills to do this business, and it came very, very slowly. So, just understand that when your income is tied to your ability to talk to people, you will develop a innate ability to talk to people. When you eating is determined by you talking, you will learn to talk.
And another good idea is there's a book out, and it is called Making Friends.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
It's a spectacular book to read.
By Dale Carnegie. You should definitely read that.
James gave it to me because I was coming up on being a manager, and I needed to learn also how to communicate with other people without being aggressive. That's
Yes.
a good way to put it.
Because sometimes you are a little aggressive.
I'm a touch.
So-
I don't deal with BS. That's
Yep.
just me.
So June Cohn says, what's going on with Ronan GT? Ronan GT reached out a couple times, but I haven't heard from him. I would love to talk to him again. I would love to get him down here and do some work. That would be great. Give the wife another. So this is going back to the employee who stole the car. Says, give the wife another shot due to the fact she probably didn't understand fully, but the man, no. This is the thing, guys, is I really think she is the victim in this situation.
She is truly.
Yeah, because she is a good-hearted person who is following her man, and unfortunately, that's a bad path for her.
Just because I'm not sure the answer to this one, and he can probably answer it better than I can. But Hamster52X, as a college student, I have experience in my
Declared major, but while in school, I can't find a job. A common answer is I wasn't selected. I'm experienced for the position now, more below.
Too experienced.
Yeah, he's too experienced. This is the thing. I think the too experienced thing is BS, but they're not hiring you because they know you're going to leave. Don't tell them your experience. Listen, whenever I was in the workforce as an employee, I had college and experience and yada, yada, yada. And whenever I filled out the application, like whenever I went to work at McDonald's, guys, I filled out the application and I was like, my name and my high school. And whenever they're like, did you graduate? Of course, like, okay, I dropped out and got an adult high school diploma, but I didn't tell them that I got an adult high school diploma, which is not a GED, but it's basically the same thing. But I just don't tell them your experience. Like,
self-made. Do you guys do your own locating if you can't get 811 out there? We do the best we can.
Absolutely, like, so we're not going to dig with a machine if 811 isn't out there. But even if 811 comes out and locates, we're still locating ourselves just to make sure. So
several questions about when Bar None is coming.
Listen, Bar None has dropped off the radar. I know nothing about when Bar None was coming. And the thing is, we had an amazing thing planned for Bar None, and he just haven't heard from him. So he's a super busy guy. And this is the thing. When your income is dependent on your social media, your calendar is very full. I mean, very full. So the fact that Bar None has ghosted doesn't mean anything. That's actually probably a good thing. It means he's busy, earning money and making money and doing his job. But he has to reach out to us because his schedule is the one that is, super busy. So please, no disrespect for Bar None.
No.
Yeah, he is.
He is a very busy man.
Yeah.
Another thing that goes into it is you did lose your account for.
Oh yeah, and definitely. Like I've lost my account for 3 weeks now. So granted, they gave it back, but they gave it back, and I can't do anything with it. I'm not allowed to comment, post videos, share anything, nothing. So
I just want to point this one out. It is Anozina is 424 says, I am a mod for Ronan GT's live on TikTok. I mentioned you in the last one, and he said he still wants to work something out.
Yeah,
and
tell him to come on.
And then Ronan GT jumped in and said, I was summoned.
Yes, Ronan GT was summoned. He's in the YouTube live. Thank God. I wish there was a way to do YouTube dual lives, and I don't know how to do that. But we need to get Ronan down here and get him in a poopy situation.
Absolutely, Ronan. Whenever you're more than welcome to come down, we are more than happy to get you in a hole with a septic tank.
You do, however, have to sign some paperwork that if you die, it's not our fault.
And if you fall in the tank, we're not getting you out.
Oh no, you're gonna. Yeah,
I'm not good with names, so I just had to look on TikTok to figure out who that is. I'm sorry, I'm just not good with names.
He's just uncultured. It's okay.
I'm autistic.
Okay, wow, all right.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go there, but whatever.
Okay. Ronan GT in the house.
Fair enough.
This says fair enough. That's awesome. Man, it is getting hot in here. I'm turning on the AC.
And my wife is actually ready to go home.
All right, sir. Well, you absolutely enjoy.
Have a good time.
We will see you, sir.
She's actually watching the live. I love you.
I just love this comment. It says, I can't say it.
Where?
The name.
Follow me at office.
But anyway, he's going to say the name after I read the comment. It says, get Ronan
in a Borat
swimsuit.
That's awesome.
I don't think any of us want to see that.
So Legend Stormcrow says, yeah, YouTube pays trash until you're super rich. Not really. I mean, listen, I've got 1.3 million followers on TikTok, and TikTok pays me maybe $60 to $140 a day. I've got 20,000 followers on YouTube, and YouTube is already paying me more than TikTok. The other thing is YouTube actively reached out to recruit my content. So, excuse me, I'm belching from the carbonated water. So, in my mind, YouTube is a much better platform. Watch me get banned on TikTok just for saying that.
Carter Dempsey, how long have you been in the septic business? So,
like 7 years.
He's been in for 7 years, and I've been here. It'll be 3 years in February.
Let us rephrase. We have this company has been in business for 7 years, going on 8 years. We've been pushing septic. We got licensed about 4 years ago, and then we've been pushing this for about 3 years. but we've got people here that have years of experience.
And then right
So
below that, James Tackett. Do y'all work weekends much?
yes, every weekend. By the way, somebody says that they love my haircut. June Cohen, thank you very much. It's actually a new barber, but in any event.
It's just the military haircut.
So what is the strangest thing you found in a septic tank? And
Ooh.
remember, you can't cuss and you can't say objectionable material.
Okay, I mean, I have one for that.
I mean, okay, so any of y'all remember Jacob Ashley Dry?
Yep.
Okay, he found a wedding ring.
14 karat gold.
14 karat gold. I guess the tank proposed to him.
Yeah,
But
me and World Septic Life, long time ago, probably back when I started, actually, found living fish
yes.
within the septic tank.
Listen.
And before y'all ask, it's impossible, this, that, and the third, they were the little shark looking ones that
They're
are
like-
algae eaters.
Like weather loaches.
Yeah, they survive on bacteria,
and algae and
Yeah.
waste and all of
Stuff
that
like that.
stuff. But
which is everything in a septic tank.
whenever you buy them in the fish store, they're like this big. They were this big in the septic tank,
About this big around.
and they're swimming around. And I'm like,
I took the lid off of the tank, and a fin about this wide almost slapped me in the mouth.
and no, I was like, nope, I'm out. Like, I think you had to like pull me back to that
I was
tank.
like, nope.
No.
The pumper showed up and sucked out the fish. They were retrieved properly and put into the lake.
Now, somebody here said, Legend Stormcrow, when digging for a water line, I found a Halloween septic can, scared me, but then I re-added it to the hole. Here's the
funny.
thing. We've gone out and purchased Halloween skeletons and put them in tanks
Oh, yeah.
so that somebody will.
We're just waiting.
Yeah, I just totally want to get that phone call.
Go live on Instagram. You can
Yeah.
have up to 4 people. We already do TikTok and YouTube. We'll worry about that later.
Like Instagram, like, okay, I like Instagram, but enough of you guys haven't really followed me on Instagram for me to even think that it's probably, there.
Damian Crawford, do you have a guy that checks the trucks to make sure that they have everything, or is that
On everyone.
No, well, partly both.
So we have weekly inventory in which I did the inventory, but my wife got so frustrated with the inventory and people losing tools. One weekend we had to go out and spend $7,000 on tools because people lost that many tools in a week.
It didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, in a week, and didn't tell anybody. So now my wife does the inventory, and she is aggressive about it. And then each driver is responsible for their stuff every single day.
And every once in a while, me and or him, to keep Well and Septic Wife happy, we go out ahead of her and we're like, hey, are you missing anything so we can go ahead and replace it so she doesn't find out?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it has, the amount of things that have been missing has slowly gone away.
So, Ronan GT is looking for my contact information. I will get that to him in a direct message after we stop talking. I'm not putting my social media phone number out there right now. So
we don't need to put a rubber snake in the tank because we've already found actual snakes in the tank.
Like seriously, okay. For those of you that don't know, I don't do snakes at all.
Period.
Like no. And
James Tucker, it is Well and Septic Wife 1.
And I'm kind of getting cold chills just thinking about that.
He doesn't do snakes at all. Like even babies, like even the ones that are like this big.
No.
He freaks out.
Now, to be fair, if Taylor's around and there's a snake, I'm going to yell, Taylor! But
It's happened 3 times from across the job.
Absolutely. However, if I'm there by myself, I opened up a well and I was working on it and there was a copperhead there. I kept my mouth shut. I did not
The one
soil
time I'm not there.
Yeah.
And it gets the poisonous one.
Yeah. And I just went and got a shovel and decapitated the snake and moved on with buried its head because apparently you're supposed to do that. And just had a lot of fun with like not dying.
Scott Atwater, my boss has had to find dentures in a septic tank 3 different times.
Oh my God.
I would love that. We haven't had to do that, but you have a new hope for me.
I don't
wanna do
understand what's going on with people who flush their toys down the septic
that. Garbage
tank.
disposal.
Well, no, not the garbage disposal, but remember the one where we went out and found all the Matchbox cars?
Yes.
Hundreds of Matchbox cars in a septic tank. That just blows my mind.
We did keep the Matchbox cards, though.
Yes.
They're on a
I
shelf.
did not keep the micro machines though.
We did not.
So,
We should have, but we did.
Captain Katie says, why is it important to bury the head? So I don't know this for a fact. This is just what I was taught in Boy Scouts whenever I was a kid. But apparently, if you step on the head of a dead snake, it can still bite and inject you. So it was considered good practice. Take off the head, bury it significantly deep. That way that future people walking where you're at do not get, accidentally injected with a snake venom or bitten by a snake.
Because those who don't know, the venom gland is actually below the eye. So cutting the hand does not cut the venom
I don't
gland.
know any of this. To me, the venom gland is the whole snake. I don't want to touch any of it.
Well, see, that's why it can still bite you if the head is cut off. It's still a bad thing. Don't do it.
Legend Stormcrow says, when I was a COO, I don't think we can say that on YouTube. I'm not going to run the risk of getting in trouble on YouTube. So,
What the? Huh?
no.
Private message one of us. I want to know more to this story. Dang it.
So somebody says you should make a museum of your septic tank finds. So this is actually a funny story. I was talking in a TikTok video about all the stuff that we find on septic tanks or in septic tanks. And one of my subscribers or followers on TikTok replied back that her husband always finds toys and that he saves them for her. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. And she clarified later, saves them for her to see and then throws them away. But the way she said it, and I talked with her later about it, she said she let her husband read the comment, and apparently he just thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
DS says, so did I miss one of my neighbors was full of condoms? Ever had that? So
Yes.
Obviously we can't go into extreme detail. Just the simple answer is yes.
Yes. And then somebody says, does DC Lowlife still work here? Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Listen, if you go back and watch the beginning of the YouTube live, you'll hear a whole story about how an employee stole a car, and DC Lowlife was basically the guy that saved the day. So, so that's for Keaton Despain. Guy Colas says toys are toys. We're not talking about children's toys.
Yeah, no. Something that I actually want to read out. Brandon was Baisley. I'm sorry if Baisley. I'm sorry if I
As I have a
butchered that.
question for you. I'm a mechanic who would love to work on cars and the job, but I wish it would pay more. Should I sacrifice my happiness for more pay?
No.
No.
There's a strong quote. I know it's in the South. I don't know if it's everywhere else. But as long as you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Never sacrifice your happiness for more money.
Now, my advice on that is people work jobs for two reasons. One, it pays really good, or two, they really love the work.
And you'll stay at a job a heck of a lot longer if you love what you do.
So Wild Ass Country Boy says, honest question, $8 to $25 an hour over 20 years. Do you think it's a fair wage and or pay increase? Here's the deal.
Over 20 years.
I don't know what job it is. That could be a great pay rate in some industries, but I'm here to tell you he went from
I went from 10 to 25 in a year and a half.
Yeah, exactly. So
20 years, you have to tell us what field, because that's not a good. We need a little bit more detail on that. I'm out.
He says on your complainers, duct tape fixed that issue. That is true, but unfortunately that is against labor law. We just can't do it as much as sometimes we want to. Got that quote in Wyoming. Happiness is more important than money. And that is the thing. Listen, people who say that happiness is more important than money typically have money. People that don't have money don't have happiness in most cases, and need to figure it out. It's sort of like people that talk about work-life balance. If you haven't met your goals and you're not stable, what is work-life balance? That's just my viewpoint on it.
So Brandon Hughes asked, if someone came to you with nothing, would you help them get a job?
Well, you have to have clothes to apply.
Yeah, you have to have clothes.
Okay.
We don't want to see what you got.
Yeah.
We're good.
Absolutely.
But have clothes? Absolutely. We'll give you every chance in the world to do absolutely everything in the world.
How do you feel about working on Sundays? Says John Butler.
It's not a great thing, but we do it.
But we do it. Sometimes we have to. And, some people don't want to do that because of like a religious reason. And I'm totally understanding of that. But, hey, if the ox is in the ditch, you go get the ox out of the ditch. And here's the thing. We're in the service business. Like if somebody calls us on Sunday and needs us on Sunday, they're going to have sewage in their house if we don't come out there. So we're sort of in the situation that if we don't go to work, somebody's having property damage. Like they're going to have problems. So we are definitely trying to, help people out.
Wallace Country Boy answers back to us saying that his field is lead paint removal and general contracting. I would say that going from 8 to 25 in the past 20 years is probably super great, but I would imagine you should get paid more to remove lead paint.
Legend Stormcrow says closed to apply. Gotcha. Dan says, James, can you do a 50-hour/100-hour review on the Traco? This is the thing. We are actually at about 75 hours on the Traco right now. And that thing, it's a cat Traco.
It's doing fantastic.
It's a beast. And the thing is I
we
know
want another one.
Yeah.
But bigger.
We know people that have other brands of Tracos, and the cat just outperforms, any other machine that's that size on any other brand.
Ooh, very common question. What is the best thing to use on your septic tank to maintain it?
Bio One.
If you put anything else in your septic tank other than Bio One, because it is proven to help, you're throwing your money at your septic tank.
Listen,
all you're doing.
Even Ridex on the bottle says, yeah, use this with regular pumping.
Yeah.
What? Huh? So yeah, Bio One. Derek McCall says better than John Deere. Listen, side-by-side comparison, machine, like I can dig deeper, lift more, yada, yada, yada with my cat than the equivalent machine at the Deere dealer. And that is straight off the paper from Deere. And we've actually lifted way more with our machine than we were supposed to. Zen Den says, when you're releasing a new version of Management for Dummies, you could also call it Common Sense Leadership for the Overeducated, Underinformed Executives.
I love that.
So this is the thing that I haven't really shared with anybody, is that I am starting to get requests from companies, management firms, and things like that to come teach, to hold seminars, give talks, and stuff like that. I haven't taken any of them up on it yet, mainly because I've never done that before outside of TikTok. But somebody has got to like what I'm saying, because they are absolutely coming out of the woodwork wanting me to do stuff. So there's that.
Guy Kothel got the call Sunday night at 1 a.m. I think that's a question. Yes, we've definitely gotten the call at 1 a.m. saying, can you pump my septic? And then I get the phone call at 1:15 a.m. saying, hey, Taylor, let's get in the truck.
And this is the thing. One of those calls, I don't think you were on this one with me, but I went out there at, about 2 o'clock in the morning to pump his septic tank, and he was rude. And I turned around and left. Like, I'm out. Like, seriously, you're going to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning to come pump your septic tank and then cop an attitude with me whenever I get out of the truck? And listen, when I get out of the truck and I'm about to make money, I am smiles and sunshine, okay? And this dude was rude. Nah, you can keep the poo-poo in your house. It's not my house. Toilet works fine where I live. Read the block before that. Is Bioactive okay? That's the brand we buy. I mean, I don't have any experience with Bioactive. The reason I swear by Bio One is because I have seen it work and just miraculously change systems over the course of 6 months to a year. It's not an overnight thing, but it does what it's supposed to do. So, it works for me. I'm going to recommend it. And buy it from anybody. I don't care if you buy it from me. You can buy it from me. I think I'm shipping out 4 bottles tomorrow. Or you buy it from somebody else. Buy it from whoever's going to sell it to you cheapest.
Brendan Rodriguez. What's the biggest septic tank your company can handle? We can handle any size because we're redneck like that.
No,
I'm kidding.
we actually got a phone call from the Army National Guard. They had a couple hundred troops on station, and their sewage handling system failed. I mean, that was a massive system.
It was humongous.
And we went out and handled that same day.
And no other company would actually make time to help the Army National Guard pump their system.
Which really pissed me off. They said we were the 12th company that they had called, and all of the local companies told the Army National Guard station here in town that they were too busy to help them. Like, what's up with that?
I saw a comment. I have now lost it. Someone said that you should do a webathon and or a seminar on a website. That requires us to have time to do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, Selendine says, would you turn away a rude customer if you're just starting out your business? Let me ask you a question. So would you turn away a rude customer if you're just starting out your business? And this is how I would answer that question. Do you respect yourself? And are you going to allow somebody to disrespect you? If you're willing to trade your self-respect for money, keep the customer. If you have your own standards and are unwilling to waver on those, turn away the customer. If your child needs to eat and you don't have the money, it's time to go to work. Okay? Like, we as parents do what we have to do to feed our children. And sometimes that means we get talked to poorly.
And this also depends on how rude you're talking.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Some people can just be blatantly rude. Other people can be just verbally abusive, and other people can try to get physical with you. If it's somebody just trying to get under your skin, just let it go and keep going. And if it's somebody who's trying to take physical action against you or doing anything they can to try and get under your skin, that's when it draws. That's when they've jumped the line, and you probably should just go on.
You know, you've seen several times customers jump up in my face. And my thing is I'm always going to try to de-escalate it first. But it's really off-putting to customers when they jump up in my face and start yelling at me, and I give them about 5 seconds to get it under control, and then I will match them word for word, action for action. And I employ some pretty big guys, and I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'8", 130 pounds. And sometimes my employees want to get protective over me. So
yours truly.
Yeah. John Butler says, damn, that hit deep.
Someone heard me say webathon. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. They said I said webathon, and Legend Stormcrow thought I said do a wear a thong video.
No, definitely not. Somebody says
next week.
Somebody says they love the GFC banner. Here's the deal. I don't think that you can get the GFC flag anymore. You should go check out Jake Barr's page and see if you can order it. But I have been offered over $1,000 for that flag because I don't think you can get it anymore. And I'm definitely not selling that flag.
Where'd it go? Carter Dempsey, how long do your employees usually stay with you? So it really just depends on if it's somebody who thinks they found their fit. Most people stay for about 5 to 6 months. And that's normally whenever they can decide whether or not this is really for them. But most of us, we just stay. I've been here for 2.5 years and never once questioned. It'll be 3 years at the end of February. I've never questioned one time ever leaving because I couldn't find a better. I could never, and probably will never find a better boss than the one I have now.
But this is the thing is one, I'm trying to build employees that want to stay here and want to work. But the other thing is I'm also encouraging people, like, if this is not the career field that they want, if they want to move on to something else, or this is a building block, like, hey, you do you. I want each person to follow their dreams. So that's what's up. Would you ever train someone to do what you do, partner or competition? Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, there is another company in town. I'm not going to say their name, but we don't get along at all. Okay. We used to do business together. He got the wrong idea about what I was doing. Thought it was a personal affront to him. He took his business and left, right? But if he called me up today and he said, hey, listen, man, I got a new guy. I don't have time to train him. Could you train him? Absolutely. Send him over. I am about improving this industry, okay? That means I'm going to share all my knowledge with the competition. if the competition calls up and says, hey, where's the septic tank? We can't find it. If we know where it's at, we're going to tell them. We get phone calls from competitors that say, hey, listen, my truck is down. Can you handle the pumps? Absolutely. And we will rework our schedule. We'll work overtime. We'll work till midnight to handle their business. So, and help them out. And we're not there to steal their customers. Absolutely not.
N0424 story time of employee getting overprotective over you. Would you like me to take that, sir?
I mean, that's actually a really long story. We should probably do that as its own thing.
Well, the shortest one of the lot is people try to think they can run over Sir Will Septic Life, not knowing he's the owner, but also because he is 5'8". I had a gentleman who was being very pushy and very stand over because he was probably 5'11" over him. Before he could go back up to tell the man that we were done, I was like, you know what? I'll do it because I stand at 6'4". And he opens the door, proceeds to look down, and then proceeds to look the rest of the way up, and was just a complete delight to me.
Yeah. The thing is there's sort of a joke in the company that I'm built like a 9-year-old girl. And trust me, I can handle myself, but people think that just because I'm smaller than they are, that they can walk over me. The other thing is I don't advertise that I own the company. There's absolutely no reason why a customer has to know that I'm the owner. I'm there to do the work. They many times customers have called and complained about a judgment call that I've made. Like if I say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not getting under the house to do that, they'll call the office and complain. And the office staff's just like, okay, all right. Well, we'll let the owner know that you called. And whenever I walk in the office, they're like, Mrs. So-and-so called. And I'm like, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute funniest thing to me is when somebody comes after my job. When they call the office demanding that I'm be fired. Okay.
They want to speak with his supervisor.
Listen, I will quit today. Can I quit?
No.
Fuck. Okay. So
stop giving him ideas, guys.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Funny comments in the TikTok thread. But yeah, I mean that's more or less how we look at things. Somebody asked if we would help the competition, and the thing is by helping the competition, you're helping the industry as a whole. And so the answer to that is yes. You always help your competition. Right outside my house, there's a McDonald's and there's a Bojangles, and they're right next to each other. Okay. And sometimes McDonald's runs out of biscuits and Bojangles sells the biscuits. Okay. And sometimes Bojangles runs out of soda and McDonald's will sell them soda. McDonald's and Bojangles are competitors. Okay. They both sell chicken sandwiches. Help your competitors, because at the end of the day, you're helping the industry as a whole.
Logan Muse, get off the comments. No one cares what you think. You were just in here. It's not our fault you left.
So Zenden says, are you prepared to expand? Realistically, do you have to consider there will ever be an increased demand for you based on your presence and following? I foresee a significant uptick. This is the thing. We get business from TikTok and YouTube every day. Okay. I do not have a desire to use my status on social media to expand out or extort that in any way. But I do want to expand out to the entire state. So there's that. Now, there's a company named Wind River. They're out of Massachusetts or whatnot. They're actually who takes care of my parents' septic tank. And I hear they're buying septic companies left, right, and sideways. I would probably not sell to them. They would have to make me a hell of an offer. But we would probably not sell to them.
Brendan Rodriguez, you are right. Logan is our secret weapon. When shit truly hits the fan, he is our backup.
So Melissa Hendrickson says, are you licensed in Tennessee as well? And the answer to that is no. I've been calling the Tennessee department to get licensed, and they will not return the call. I guess they don't like me. They don't like the beard.
They're intimidated by the beard.
No, they're not. Tennessee just doesn't give a. In any event,
Shit.
So Ryan Schrader says, "What's the difference from TikTok to here? One, the comment section in the live stream is better. Two, YouTube pays more. Three, I get to show more. I can't really say more. They don't want you cussing on YouTube, but I can show more. I can be more educational. TikTok has taken down almost every septic tank video that I've ever posted. They say that it's gross and disgusting. They took down my employee's motorcycle crash. It was a phenomenal crash. You should go watch the video. But they took it down as well. Yeah. So, Boosted Moose says, I was subcontracted to work on trucks for Wind River Company, the brand, and they purchased seem to have good safety practices, but every company is weird in some way at a corporate level. Absolutely. And listen, this is the thing. You have to be weird to make it in business. Okay. Like, that's just a thing. If you're not crazy, you're not going to make it in business. Hate it.
Damian Crawford, does weather ever have an effect on the septic tank? Depends on the depth of your tank.
Yeah. So like we're doing work on a tank in Hendersonville right now that's 3 inches deep. Guess what? That tank is frozen. It is broken. The lids are busted, all because of freezing. UV is not the best thing. So you want your, tank to stay covered to protect it from sunlight. Tanks get run over by lawnmowers and stuff like that. So snow and just, it's best if the tank is buried. Flooding can definitely affect septic tanks. They'll pop up out of the ground. That's always the casket you don't want to find, is when the septic tank pops up out of the ground. Our well here in Missouri is 500 feet deep. What is your average well depth in North Carolina? About 300. Yeah. 300 to 500 is pretty decent. KT Mama says Tennessee is not all it's cracked up to be. And then Wizamundrlik says, why is Rid-X bad to put into the septic tank? I'm not saying Rid-X is bad to put into a septic tank. I'm saying I've never seen Rid-X do anything for a septic tank. And this is sort of the anecdotal evidence. So, take it or leave it. It doesn't matter. But every single time that I've had a customer go, there's nothing wrong with our septic tank, I put Rid-X in it every month. We open it up and it's a disaster. Like replace the system kind of disaster. I just like that, to me, makes me not want to use it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna comment on two different comments I've seen so far. Chris King, have you been as far as I cannot say that North Carolina, which is Montgomery County? We have not. We're still working on expanding that way. And then Austin Brown says, would you hire someone who couldn't read from far away, got into Asheville to be near my mom, and need a job? We are obviously very open to the idea, but do know that the slow season is coming up, so we're not really looking for hiring anyone right now.
And for anybody who's like hard of sight, that is a problem because of the many safety obstacles, trip hazards, and stuff like that. So good vision is a job requirement. And we have absolutely sent employees to have their vision tested and to get glasses, and told them that they could not work until they get said glasses. Yeah, so Captain Katie says, I get the Bioactive on Amazon. I don't see Bio One there. Bio One's not sold on Amazon. I'm working on changing that, but if I start selling it on Amazon, I'm going to piss off the distributor. If you go to my profile in TikTok for my main account, the 1.3 million subscribers, there's a link in my link tree or whatever it is to get it. There's also a company in Asheville that sells it. That is not us. So there's two people in Asheville that sell it.
Anazeria 424 again. How do you find new lids for old systems? My dosing is a rectangular box. All the lids I'm finding by Google are round. My lid is full of holes. I would recommend looking up who makes tanks nearby, because 9 times out of 10 they cast their own, and will most likely have a square lid for you. Our local guys that we go to for all of our septic needs whenever it comes to concrete lids is either we have a mold and we cast our own, or we go to Southern Concrete.
And that's the thing, is we reached out to the state and was like, hey guys, we can't find a lot of these, lids that we need. And they said, okay, then start making your own. So we did. So we make our own lids. And our lids are way stronger and way heavier than the ones that we buy someplace else.
Ooh, we
Okay.
need to Thorson Ollinger. I'm sorry. Any tips on putting in my own tank? You're not going to get it level on the first try. Accept it.
This is the thing. Putting in your own tank. If you don't know what you're doing, by all means, have fun with it. That is going to be a fun experience. Putting in our first tank was, I would say it was a disaster.
Completely.
But we squared it away. Okay. But the thing is like, I just don't recommend it. I mean, we've put in a lot of tanks at this point.
Get a company that has the equipment.
Yeah.
Just do it. It's so, I know it's a lot more money, but it's so much easier.
The equipment just makes all the difference. But hey, if you got a track hoe and a laser transit and all of that, knock it out. So,
Logan also commented, don't do it.
so somebody says, does it hurt to flush sinks with high pressure air? High pressure doesn't belong anywhere in the septic. No.
It's not high pressure piping.
It's
like it's not gonna
no,
be okay.
no.
Don't do it.
It's no.
We use a hydrojetter that puts out a very ridiculous amount of pressure on the 4-inch pipe. The one coming out of your sink, I imagine, is probably only a 1-inch. So I would probably advise against doing that.
Okay, so we're gonna start paying some attention to the TikTok here because the YouTube comments come through so much better, but these we have to like speed read. What?
No, I was talking about.
Oh, best advice for an apprentice starting into the trades: show up to work.
Be on time.
Yeah, be early. That's the best advice.
The best advice I can give is the advice I was given by a 65-year-old man when I was an apprentice. That was, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah, but the thing is let's not get it twisted. Showing like we don't require people to be early, but if like the workday starts at 8 o'clock, if you show up at 8 o'clock, clock in at 8 o'clock, but you better be in uniform and ready to go. Okay. But if you show up 5 minutes early, clock in 5 minutes early. Like, I am here to pay you for your hours. Now, don't clock in early and stand around doing nothing. Go find something to do.
We will catch you.
Yeah.
Because it's clocked. And we have cameras.
KG Mama says, a 2-year-old house, do you think we should pump the septic tank? No, I would wait to the 3-year point.
Yeah, give it another year. If you start experiencing any gurgling or any of the noises or a certain smell, we'll probably have it looked into, but maybe not necessarily pumped.
Yeah. By the way, you can find me on YouTube by, Googling James Butler YouTube. I've got 20,000 subscribers. It should be a pretty easy channel to find. Question: how do you pick out someone to put your septic tank in? I mean, listen, I hate to say this, but look at the Google reviews. So Mike Warren 61 says, took my 2 employees camping and ATV riding. Pretty sure they both set off getting high all day. That's the problem. So it is becoming so hard to find employees who don't show up high to work. I mean, I've got an employee right now that I would bet you $100.
He's high right now.
That is high right now. Okay. Now, to be fair, it's his own time.
And he does not show up high to work.
And he doesn't show up high to work. But on Monday, he's going with the most challenging employee to go with. We're sending him out with Chad.
Yep.
Chad is the hardest working inspector.
Yes, I'm more than happy to give Chad this. He is an incredibly dedicated person when it comes to his job.
Oh my God,
he is an incredibly
knowledgeable
person,
thorough person.
He's very visually, like, he can see things that most people just don't see, and he is excellent at his job. We are probably going to actually move him into being one of the trainers because
he's already a trainer.
Well, he is already a trainer.
Yeah.
Because while he is one of the most difficult people to work with, he is one of the most educated and just great people to be around, and he spits out just some of the best
trained people
that we have.
And it's not that he's difficult to work with on a personality basis.
No.
He's difficult to work with because he puts you to work. Like, whenever you get in his van, you had better be prepared to sweat all day. You are going to earn that money in his truck.
And you are not going to hold him up.
No. That man is on a schedule. He's on a mission from God, and that schedule is getting done. Jessica Moot says, on time, I don't care if they smoke. That's the thing. But here is the thing. Number one, you can't drive a vehicle if you smoke because we operate commercial vehicles. So there's DOT federal laws that say they have to be able to pass a DOT drug test. The other thing is I just find that the employees that smoke are less motivated than the employees who don't smoke. Anecdotally, I just find that.
And if we have knowledge of you smoking while in a company vehicle, or
you're done.
You're done. That's
Yeah.
it. And we just don't want to have to do that to somebody just because they needed to take the edge off of their stress.
Dawn P says, well, I ate dinner, watched Blacklist, and you're still here. Actually, I'm kind of having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Y'all are asking great questions.
oh yeah, super.
I do also appreciate the comments.
So Melanie says, or Melano1 says, what about stealing a car? So we have already,
you will be fired by any company.
We have already told this story because we've been on the live for an hour and a half, but that entire thing is the first 30 minutes of this YouTube live. Please go watch it. But basically, we had an employee lie to us, not pay his child support, he lied. He didn't pay his child support. He had outstanding warrants. He and then walked in here and just lied to our face. And we tell the whole story on the YouTube, but I'm sorry, we've been on here for an hour and a half. Jay Smitty Diesel says, is the guy from Arkansas still employed? Yes, that's DC Lowlife. And he actually saved the day on the employee who stole the car. So like, love it. Absolutely love it. And I don't know if you guys heard that, but somebody just ordered Bio 1. Somebody says, I'm going to go watch that. So Alan McKindorn says, glad to see your account active. This is my backup account. I still cannot do anything with my main account. But Bender Rodriguez, hey, the whole story's, you can watch it anytime on YouTube. So my question for you guys, since you guys are, here is, and jump in the comments, but when you guys go to work, do you feel like your employer really appreciates you? Do you feel like, if you quit your job, that your employer would be like, damn, I hate to lose him? Because I'm sitting here, and this is Taylor, who's been here for over 2 years. And if Taylor walked out the door, I would be like, grr.
And granted, me and James have a standing agreement, or I have a standing agreement with him, that the only way I'm leaving is A, he fires me, and B, I die.
Yeah.
So,
but now thinking about whether or not your employer would regret you leaving, do they do anything to keep you? Do you see active effort by your employer to sort of keep you around? Go ahead and hit up the comments. I would just love to hear what you guys have to say. There's a lot of no's.
Don't feel bad. We had the same answer.
Man, that just.
Logan says, see, considering I work for you, yes, I feel very
There you go. And by the way, this is a question for the YouTube side of things. How is the audio quality? Because I just bought a new microphone. I'm gonna got a new mic. Look at that. Look, isn't that amazing looking?
Look better on the camera than in real life.
Yeah, it does look better on the camera than it does in real life. But how's the audio quality on YouTube, and how's the picture quality? So
I would say actively tries to keep you, meaning that they just kind of go out of their way to show you that they appreciate you.
Shake your hand, tell you good morning, buy you donuts on the team meeting.
They just show that they appreciate what you do.
Replace your broken tools, without you having to, beg for it, stuff like that.
Ronan GT says good audio.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Ronan. somebody in TikTok just said that the biggest problem with with employers is crappy management. And I'm just going to remind everybody that not everybody is meant to be a leader. And there's a difference between a leader and a supervisor. A supervisor isn't meant to be a leader. A supervisor is meant to be a supervisor. And that leadership is taught. Nobody is just born a leader. Okay.
You were.
What?
I said you were.
Well, no, like, whenever I was younger, I was put in Cub Scouts, I was put in Boy Scouts or Weeblos, and then Boy Scouts. I made Eagle Scout. I took leadership throughout the entire time that I was in scouting. My father was senior enlisted in the United States Navy, as well as being a nuclear engineer and Navy nuke turned command master chief. I got leadership my entire life. Then I went on to join the military, which was very, very short, and I got out. And then I worked for really horrible bosses, and I learned about leadership there. So I have spent, basically 30 years learning how to lead people and understand people and take care of people. So
Damian Crawford, just a real quick answer to your question.
leaders are trained. And if your crappy leader hasn't had training, now you know why he's crappy.
Really quick answer to just Damian Crawford's question, just because I saw it out of the corner of my eye. He said, what is the most amount of pump trucks that you've had to take to a job? We only have 2, so 2.
But we've had to make multiple trips.
We have had to make multiple trips, and if we're just talking about pump trucks, it's 2. But if we're talking about cars in general, it's about 8.
Yeah. We did have to bring 8 vehicle assets to a job to get it done. And that was a customer where we had messed up. We totally screwed this customer over. Well, maybe we didn't. He thought we did. Okay. And we thought we didn't, but the customer was upset with us. And I told him it would be fixed that day. And it turned out to be a major problem. And so we basically put out the call at about probably 2:00 in the afternoon. And we said, hey, listen, this is an all hands on deck call. Nobody goes home until this job is fixed. And he had 8 vehicles parked in his lot. His wife also did not believe him. So therefore he took our picture and videoed all of the cars leaving. Yeah. He had 14 employees digging in his yard to fix his problem that day. And 1, he didn't think we were that big. And 2, he didn't believe me whenever I told him his problem would be fixed that day. So,
Jordan Matthews says, he is a CDL OTR. They take care of me. Anything I need, they take care of. My managers are always asking how my family is, and that makes it worth it. That's true.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Listen, not only do I want to know how my employees are doing, I want to know how their family's doing. Okay. If babysitting is an issue, I'm going to see if I can, help out with that. A lot of times I can't, but, man, like asking about family is huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that happened in my life that, James helped me out with substantially is after 2.5 years, me and my now ex-wife decided to get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
James paid for the lawyer to help me be divorced. His brother, the unicorn that some of y'all didn't get to see, notarized my divorce. Just a humongous help, and everything went incredibly smoothly because he helped me. And to this day, he is still actively asking about all of the employees' families. I do the same. If they ever have any issues, we do whatever we can to help them, in any way we can.
Yeah.
Because when they're happy, they're working better.
Yep. And it's not just about working better. It's also about working safe, because if you're super stressed out,
That too.
you're not concentrating on safety. Whenever you look at when accidents happen, they usually happen when somebody's distracted. Okay. And so keeping that whole like work-life balance going is crucial, because you, as the employer, you have to make sure their home life is going good too, because that home life is going to affect the work life. So
I'm sorry that I'm not watching the TikTok people with y'all's questions. That is something he's taking care of, and I'm watching the YouTube questions. So please forgive me for not acknowledging y'all's questions. I do apologize in advance. But one of the YouTube questions that I've so far have loved the most is, it says, when I was David Steffens, again, sorry. When I was a kid, my dad's septic tank got hit by lightning. and the lid busted and fell in. So he replaced it with a car hood. That is awesome. That is definitely not up to code.
Wow.
But I love that.
Now, somebody on TikTok asked, they said, how do you keep the workplace, light and casual? And the thing is while it is light and casual, there's definitely no doubt that I'm the boss.
There's no question.
Okay. But the main thing is me just not getting stuck on myself. Have you ever heard me running around saying, I'm the boss, do it my way, blah, 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 blah.
And even when it comes to somebody being in trouble, it's not his decision.
Yeah.
It is everybody other than that person, whether it be office staff, other helpers, supervisors, inspectors, techs, everybody gets asked, hey, this guy did this. What should his punishment be? And is he working good enough that maybe this could just be overlooked? So
this is the thing. I own the company. Okay. I have controlling shares of the company. It's owned between, me, my brother, and my wives. And I have the controlling share, the 51% of the company. But here's the thing. I do not single-handedly make a decision on whether or not to fire somebody. That's what a dictator does. Okay. And if you work someplace with a dictator, hey, maybe he's a good dictator. But I think the decision on whether to let somebody go or not should be made as a collective group. So let's say that, Taylor gets accused of something. I can make the choice to ignore it. I have the authority to fire him. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to convene the other owners, a couple of the supervisors, a couple of senior people in the company that have been here a long time. And we're going to sit down with Taylor in a room and we're going to talk about this problem. And even if the group makes the decision to fire Taylor, I still have the authority to override that decision. But it is always the goal to keep the employee because you don't throw away people.
A couple of people have asked, how's DC Lowlife doing? If you look earlier in the video, we've kind of delved more into this.
Hold on for a second.
The fast answer is he's doing fantastic.
Somebody says wives, and the answer is
yes.
Not my ex-wife. There's too current.
Yeah.
Trying not to,
different video.
Yeah, different video. That's
but yes, he did say wives.
Yeah. It's not the ex-wife. The ex-wife has nothing to do with it. I did hire my ex-wife. And then I fired her.
I was not here for that. Thankfully.
How many people can say they hired their ex-wife and then fired them?
Do you take tips as a owner and or boss? He does receive the tips, but unless if one of us say him, me, and we'll just say DC Lowlife on our job, and we get let's just say we get $100 tip. Me and DC Lowlife get $50.
Mm-hmm. Now, if it goes over $50 per person, then we take that money and we go to a dinner.
Nice. Yeah. Like a nice place.
So what I'll do is
not Burger King.
Yeah, we're not going to Burger King. But let's say there's 5 people on the job and somebody tips, $60 a person or whatever. I'm going to take all that money and I'm going to take them to like a 5-star restaurant. And he
does.
And
most of us just eat steak.
Yeah, steak all day. But anything over that, we're all going out to eat. We're all splitting that on food. Full-time Dad 87 says, you looking for a project manager? Yes. Yes, that position is open.
Yes. Go to the link tree. You will find a place to email us your application.
Jay Bobber says, you, my friend, are an anomaly. Thank you for making me believe there are still good people in the world. There are, and there's a ton of good employers. But here's the thing. You keep hearing about bad ones because that's who makes the news. That's who makes the media. A lot of these owner operators really consider their employees family. And I know that's cliche, but Taylor, if you broke down the side of the road at 3:00 in the morning coming home from the bar, who's your first phone call?
So to answer this question, we're also going to answer another question that's on YouTube. It says, what is the best way to build the trust you guys have between boss and employee? And what it is have a boss that is involved with you, with all the employees. Because as he just stated, if I called him drunk as hell, with a flat tire, my first phone call, because I trust my boss and there's not a question in my mind that he's going to answer the phone. There will either be a tow truck or he will just show up, pick me up, get me home, get me in bed, make sure I'm okay. And he's going to call me the next day and be like, hey, are you okay?
And let's go fix your car.
And let's go fix your truck.
Yeah.
Because you're an idiot. Now, am I going to receive the chewing of a lifetime from him and the Well and Septic wives, because they are also a huge part of my life because they're spectacular and they give me great advice too. So the three of them as the owners and as my friends are going to give me the chewing of a lifetime. But it's nice to know that I have that.
And the thing is, when DC Lowlife came down here, he didn't really think that it would really be like an environment that we all liked and like a family.
Yeah.
And
On
it took him about a month before he figured it out.
Took him less than that. DC, for those of you who don't know, DC Lowlife again, he's doing spectacular. He's here. He's doing great. Whenever he came down on a Tuesday. That following Thursday was his birthday, and he had just moved away from his family, so he was really down.
And he had nothing. He came down here with nothing.
He came with absolutely nothing. I just so happened to have a spare bed, dresser, and closet, and gave it all to him so that he had something to have. And when he had told me that he was, super upset because his family was going to be here and his birthday was coming up, me and James together went to Walmart because he had nothing. And we went and bought him a 55-inch Roku TV and gave it to him for his birthday.
And he cried.
Because
nobody had ever given him a TV. Yeah.
And Jason, for those of you who don't know, is an excellent baker and a terrific artist. If you ever noticed, DC Lowlife has a Deadpool symbol tattoo right here on his arm. Jason took note of that and made a cake identical to the tattoo that he had.
Made him a Deadpool birthday cake. So it's not just me. It's everybody here. Listen. Wife number 2, when she found out that DC Lowlife was coming down here, went and hit up the Walmart, got him a bathroom set, plates, forks, knives, all that stuff, so that whenever he got here, he had something. That's just the mentality that happens.
Somebody says, how far east do you go in North Carolina? So we cover all of whatever is considered Western North Carolina. So if you're in an area that's considered Western North Carolina, then we go there. If it's not considered Western North Carolina, then we don't.
So somebody on TikTok said, don't mention the graces that you give because, nobody needs to hear that. I'm not mentioning it to get any credit. I'm mentioning it to tell people this is how you do it. Like this is a step-by-step guide of how you accomplish something. Like, I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking for anything. What I'm saying is if you want to build something, if you want to build leadership, this is how you do it. I'm not asking for your praise. I don't want your praise. I give two craps about your praise. This is a channel about learning how to be a good leader, how to run a company, and how to have a business. This is the step 2 guide. Okay.
And have employees that will do anything for each other.
Yeah. So don't think that this is like, bragging or something. This is a how-to guide.
Yeah.
And if you think it's anything other than that, then you're mistaken.
And do your best to not have it be a competitive environment where one employee feels like he has to do better than everybody else.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because that will just
destroy it.
That will destroy your company, and that will destroy the relationship between not only you and your employees, but your employees' relationships with each other.
Somebody asked if DC Lowlife was gone. No, DC Lowlife is not gone. Here. DC Lowlife saved the day when it came to the stolen car.
Check the earlier parts of the video.
Yeah,
it's a long story.
This entire video that is now an hour and 43 minutes long, the tale of the employee who stole the car, lied, got warrants, everything, is you can watch it. It's the first 30 minutes of the YouTube video that was tonight. So listen, guys, we're going on an hour and 43 minutes. I'm tired. My throat hurts. I've got work in the morning. It's 10:16 p.m. where I'm at. I'm going to go to sleep. I had an amazing time.
Yeah, y'all were terrific. TikTok, YouTube, y'all blew up the comments. They were terrific questions. They were terrific comments that were just hysterical.
Melissa Hendrickson says, how long does a bottle of Bio 1 last? Going to order some now. The answer to that is it's a 64-ounce bottle. You use 4 ounces a week is what I recommend. So whatever 64 divided by 4 is, that's how many weeks it's going to last. Should be pretty good.
But you guys have been terrific. We're going to close out this video. We all hope that y'all have wonderful nights tonight or wonderful mornings wherever y'all may be waking up. We will be back eventually.
trying to do at least one video a week. I would love to do a video a day, but that's just not possible. But I am trying to do YouTube shorts every day. So watch those. I don't think I get paid for YouTube shorts,
No.
but they're a lot of fun to make.
Oh yeah.
But you guys have fun. We're out of here.
See you.